In the Parker Town Council at 7:02 on August 5th, 2024. All council members are present, and would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first up on our agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items that are not on tonight's agenda. This comment period is limited for the first 30 minutes of the meeting, and then if we need to continue it, we will do so after the meeting. People are encouraged to sign up. However, we'll call you up even if you're not signed up. So I currently have 3 members signed up. And again, you can come up even if not. I'll give you 3 minutes on the timer, and then if you'll state your name and address for the record, and we'll get you going. So first up is Brad Bergford. Did I get that close? Yes, sir. Okay, all right. And if you will, your name and address for the record, and then I'll start your 3 minutes.
State my name and address?
Yep.
Brad Bergford, 12988 Banyan Circle, Parker, Colorado, 80134.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, members of the Town Council, I appreciate you having us here. Yesterday, I was arrested at Salisbury Park for doing less than I've done so far here tonight. I was arrested under the false pretense that I was going to be part of a protest. In fact, I had communicated with town attorney. I don't know if town attorney's here tonight. I don't know what she looks like. Is she here tonight?
She's right there.
Okay. I communicated with her last week, indicated to her that I represent a group that intended to share a message of love, and I wanted to talk about some details so that we didn't have any miscommunications or any issues that we could have worked out beforehand to spare unnecessary issues on Sunday at Salisbury Park at the Douglas County Pride Fest put on by Castle Rock Pride. Arrived, I'll say that town attorney indicated that this was not the town's event, and if we had some sort of an issue with the code of conduct, which I will point out is unconstitutional for lots of reasons, but we don't have time to go into them here, that I should go to the group that has reserved that park. And so we were unable to have a true substantive communication, although I think that would have been helpful. But in any event, the town attorney knew that I was representing a group of people, and affirmatively that I was not part of a group of people who intended to engage in any sort of display. The other thing that town attorney told me that stands out to me is that the Parker Police Department was not going to be handling security for the event. So I showed up and found out that that wasn't true. Additionally, when I showed up, I had purchased a ticket. I went inside at the main person who was running the event, and I can't pronounce her name, so you'll have to forgive me. But she literally looked at my ticket that I had purchased and admitted me to the event, and maybe 15 or so minutes later, made a beeline toward me and friends of mine, and told us we had to leave. The police were right behind her, and they said that we had to leave because it's a private event, which is also not true. This is a public event under the law, under the Colorado Public Accommodation Statute. It's a public event, and what they did to exclude people like me and the group that I represented are not only illegal but unacceptable under that statute, under the Constitution of the United States, and under Parker's policies with respect to events such as this. So we're going to talk more about this in the future. I know my time is up, but I want you to know the very slightest bit about this. We literally did nothing other than walk around the grounds yesterday, and they took out the attorney for the people who needed their rights protected, and as a result, the rights of those people were not protected, and they were removed from the property.
Great, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next up is Dan Bonham. And again, if you would state your name and address for the record, and then I'll get you started.
My name is Dana Bonham. I live in Castle Rock. Because of the nature of who I'm speaking about, I don't want to give my address.
Great. Go
I'm a
ahead.
district captain with the DC GOP. I was at the event yesterday, there to pray and to watch. I wasn't even allowed in by the time I got there. People had already been arrested, and since I was at Pride Fest last year, watching again, I knew that they would not let me in and did not want to risk getting arrested just for entering with a ticket, mind you, a purchased ticket. Last year, I went to Pride Fest as a watcher, and it was a horrible experience. We were intimidated. The rhetoric was violent, and we were met with that again yesterday. We were met, people, moms, dads, young people, my own son, standing there praying, and we were met with 3 snipers, 2 drones, K-9, and lots of Parker police force. That's what we were met with. We know it's gaslighting from this group, from Pride Fest and their group, because we see it on the Douglas County Speakeasy and other Facebook pages. We see pictures of us there calling us domestic terrorists. I have my Constitution. I'm probably labeled that by some in this room right now, a domestic terrorist, because I'm holding my Constitution, which was my right to be there yesterday. Last year, I'll just tell you some of the violence that I experienced. Last year, I sat next to Angela Thomas and her friend while they joked about the Parasol Patrol, and she's a huge proponent of Pride Fest. She and her friend talked about how they wish they had daggers on the ends of their parasols for times like this, for times like men standing there in white shirts that said, "Stand to protect kids and Jesus loves you" on the back. Yeah, that's what they needed daggers to protect themselves from. It's crazy what we experienced, the violent rhetoric that we experienced. We felt unsafe yesterday. They were not unsafe with parents praying over the event and over the kids, that vulnerable children would not be sexualized by these people. And yes, they want to sexualize our children. We're fighting it in Castle Rock. That's why they came here. They'll probably be back in Castle Rock next year, and we're going to fight them there too. We're going to fight them when they come at Easter time to Festival Park and hand out candy in drag queen outfits. That's what we're going to protect our kids against. We're tired of them coming to every sanctified event, every event that should be something different, and making it all about them. We're tired of them cramming it down our throats, and we're going to fight back in a peaceful way.
Great. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Bonham. Appreciate it. Next up, I have Amy Winju. Come on up, and if you would, your name and address or location for the record.
I'm not that tall. Hi, my name is Amy Winju, and I live in Castle Rock.
Go ahead.
And tonight I want to speak about yesterday's events, Pride Fest. Pride and Fest. It was anything but festful. It was full of pride, ego, all of that jazz. Yesterday's event was held by Douglas County Pride. Douglas County Pride applied for 2 of the Town of Parker's permits. One is the community event permit, the other is the special events permit. The special events permit, per the document on y'all's website, clearly states that that is for events selling liquor. In that same document, it states an event is public if it is publicized anywhere, to include social media. It even goes into detail on Facebook. Douglas County Pride had those tickets for sale to anybody. This event was held on a taxpayer-funded park. With that being said, I would like to add that this event was heavily policed. There were at least 2 to 3 snipers on a command post, 2 to 3 drones, a K-9 patrolling unit, nearly a dozen officers, if not more, a command post behind a linked fence to hold and charge detainees for trespassing an event that was publicly advertised. I would also like to say that at around noonish, 6 to 8 individuals were arrested after being granted permission to attend the event. They were held, handcuffed, detained, and charged with trespassing. Then miraculously, by mid-afternoon, people were just told to leave, and the police escorted them out. Those individuals in mid-afternoon were not charged. What transpired between 12 and 3? I would also like you guys to look into Michael Clarkson, the Douglas County Pride Chief of Security. That's a joke. He's an IT guy. I would also like you guys to look into the Town of Parker's Police Department's intelligence unit. Where was the intelligence that deemed citizens like me an extreme threat? How did your police department determine this? That needs to get investigated. When individuals on your town property are handcuffed for participating in a public event that they were granted tickets to and charged for trespassing, we were determined the extreme threat. Shame on the town of Parker. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winju. Anyone else wishing to make public comment?
Good evening, Tina De Los Santos, and I will not put my address on record because of what I saw yesterday.
Great, go ahead.
Sometimes when life gets confusing and chaotic, we just need to get back to the basics. I've brought you a constitution so that you can read it or you can share it with your friends. You guys took an oath to this constitution. Make sure that you read it. Maybe an executive session over it would be good because you guys have caused chaos in our town. You put snipers on people praying. Do you understand that? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And every one of you needs to be replaced. Do a better job. Read the Constitution. Get back to the basics. And by the way, that event yesterday was advertised on the internet. And it said, all welcome. I guess that's all welcome except for who we want to exclude, huh? So I guess inclusion doesn't really have a definition in Parker, Colorado.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Graham?
Good evening.
And if you would, name an address for the record or location.
Jimmy Graham, 444 Mango Drive, Castle Rock, Colorado.
Great. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Last year, I wanted to give a message at the Pride Fest that had nothing to do with LGBT community. It was specifically because people had asked me that they had been assaulted, senior citizens had been assaulted, kids had been subject to absolutely disgusting behavior. The police did nothing about it. And I have that protector gene. When people say, hey, who's going to do something about it? I say, I'll go. I want to go for myself and see what's going on. So we did, and I had 70 to 80 men. There were women there as well, people praying, and we stood there, and we had a shirt on that said, Santa Protect Children. From what we had seen in the past, it was absolutely disgusting. Things like the nudity, and children don't know that these are fake nipples being shown and danced around, sexually explicit, just profanity. The music was absolutely inappropriate. They opened the bathrooms to both sexes, tipping children for sexual performance, touching children in the crowd, having children tip them for sexual performance, absolutely just out of bounds. Douglas County Sheriff, we're doing on time, not good. Chief of Police, hey Jimmy, I received the request to meet with you. However, since you are interested in discussing an event that is not a town event, it would not be appropriate for me to meet with you. If you have questions about the event or related to logistics, it is more appropriate for you to reach out to the event organizers. That was the Parker Chief of Police. The people that sexually assaulted children last year, physically assaulted people, and the police did nothing about it, right? So from Darren Weekly in our town, I said, what did you do? Just as a follow-up, there was a minor sexually assaulted, there were senior citizens assaulted, people were assaulted, and I came and testified and gave detectives footage of all of this. The DA didn't want to press charges on anything, none of it. A sexual assault on a minor was not prosecuted in Douglas County. So this year, I've been called a coward. It's hilarious. It's funny to me because I tell my kids this: don't worry about what other people say about you, unless they're right? So I've been, marksmen were there, aiming at people praying. I was a sniper. I'll call them marksmen, okay, in the SEAL teams. I was a protective officer for the CIA overseas, right, for 7 years. Protective, not law enforcement, actually protecting people, not enforcing law. And there's a difference. I've been called a terrorist. I'm the exact opposite of a terrorist. Like I said, I proudly served this nation honorably. I've been called a coward. I have a medal in a drawer at my house given by the president saying I'm a hero, right? I don't boast that. I don't put it around. I love this nation. It's being destroyed. Someone should do something. Who? Law enforcement will not protect our children. They'll actually hold the door for the protected class, and I mean that, the protected class. They didn't arrest anybody last year when they said they're the only people that broke the law, and they saw it with their own eyes. But when people walked in to silently this year silently pray, to have a shirt on that said you are loved, they were covered down by marksmen and arrested in handcuffs in this nation, the one I chose to live in after earning the right. So to say the protected class is pulling your strings, wasting valuable taxpayer dollars. I wanted to inform the chief of police, wouldn't take the call. Would have said, I've trained people, ask them to not be armed and to silently pray. That is all. And it wouldn't. And instead, we want to waste resources aiming guns at our people. Who's the person in this town that I need to talk to protect the children? I'll gladly meet with them, but I haven't found them yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Anyone else for public comment tonight? Right. We only give you one shot, sorry. All right. All right, with that, we will move on in our agenda to reports, items, and comments from mayor and council. We'll start to my far right with Councilmember Rivero. Okay. Do you want to start on the other side? Councilmember Hendricks, you want to start? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week I attended the National Night Out at O'Brien Park from the police department's annual event. It was well attended and a lot of citizens showed up. It was great. That's all.
Okay, Councilmember Barrington.
Yeah, the last couple weeks, last couple weeks have definitely been busy. Had two energy, environment, and natural resource meetings for the National League of Cities. I attended a Dransfeld Road widening, or the tour. All of us on council got to tour that. We also attended a Parker Water Symposium on the 23rd, on the 24th, an employee appreciation barbecue. Then I had a board meeting with the Douglas County Housing Partnership. On that same day, we had a grand opening for Kaiser Permanente and Valley Hope. I was lucky enough to also attend the Douglas County Fair concert, the Chris Jansen concert. Thanks.
Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you. Apologize for that. Other than what's already been mentioned, I will touch on this water symposium. Incredible event, very educational, and got to hear some great speakers talk about the true state Douglas County's water is in, and Parker's doing pretty good. We've got a good future lined up. Other than what is already mentioned, Councilmember Wilkes and I hosted or emceed, if you will, the pre-candidate meeting for the people that are interested in running for office, this office. And that was a well-attended event and very great and awesome to talk to incredible volunteers and tell them what the job is actually like. So appreciate that. And I think that is all. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just to kind of compound on Councilmember Rivero, the Water Symposium, very well attended. I think Parker Water and Sand put on a pretty good show. They had some quality speakers, informed us of what was going on here within Douglas County. So again, it was a great to learn, great to see, I think 60, 80 plus people show up beyond Ron Red's, I think, beliefs. So that was good. On the 25th, I had a E470 Finance Committee meeting. We had a number of items, one of which, from a Finance Committee standpoint, was the 2024 audit briefing. We're about ready to transition into audit season, so from KPMG, they talked to us about that. E470. The next day, I had a lunch with the new executive director, Joe Donahue. We just brought him back to E470 from HNTB, a consultancy that he was, I think, located in Texas. So did that. National Night Out as well. It was actually a day out. I think more than a few council members and maybe even the mayor was there. And on the 27th, I was at the Douglas County Fair to honor Commissioner Partridge. It was good to see his family there and speak to his kiddos and share some stories and a tear or two about just observations that I had that kind of met up with his son's memories of him as well. So again, a great man. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, so I attended the Parker Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors meeting and just talked about things that are coming down the pipeline and what we can do to start helping more of the businesses as we're ramping into what's called a slow season. And then on the Public Safety and Crime Prevention Federal Advocacy Committee that I sit on the for the National League of Cities, we had several meetings over the last few weeks just ramping up for what our meeting in November is going to look like, and then again back in DC in March to discuss with our legislators on state funding and national funding. And then had a strategic planning event with the couple people from the town as well as our CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. Had a ribbon cutting for Hush Little Baby Boutique, which has adorable kids' clothes, and I'm very excited to dress up my niece and nephew all the time. And then we had the South Metro Denver Chamber Summer VIP event kickoff in Greenwood Village at their club there, and that was just good to get to network with other municipalities and elected officials that are part of the South Metro Denver Chamber. That's all.
Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, it has been a busy past 2 weeks. Lots of things going on. We did have an employee Town of Parker appreciation event at the Parker Police Department, which was a thank you for hosting that, Parker Police Department. We also, my sons and I got the chance to enjoy O'Brien Pool. I must say it is packed these days, so our Parks and Rec is doing a fabulous job. Lots to enjoy there. Beautiful facility, full capacity. Also went to the Discovery Park concert series. Thank you, Parker Arts Center, for these beautiful concerts that you put on at no cost to the town of Parker residents. And once again, folks from all over Douglas County are enjoying these concerts. Beautiful concerts happening this summer in the park, everybody enjoying themselves, and lots of vendors there too to interact with the public. Also, we went to Valley House of Hope to enjoy their grand reopening. The mayor and I had previously met with folks from Valley House of Hope here in Parker and discuss how they're helping more people in Parker overcome addiction issues. Very happy about that, and most of council was there as well. We went to the Water Symposium half-a-day event and toured the building at the Parker Water and Sanitation Division with Ron Redd and his team. Water is a very important issue in Parker going forward, and it's great to know that Parker Water and Sanitation have that covered with residents of Parker for any new development that may take place. And last but not least, I was invited by the Parker Faith Council here in town, a group of folks that either are religious leaders or with their religious organizations, to come and have a meeting at the library, and we discussed the ways that the members of the Parker Faith Council and this community in Parker, how the nonprofit organizations and the religious community comes together to help folks in Parker in need. And it was a beautiful thing to understand the diaper drive that some of these organizations are putting on, the food security issues that folks have in Parker, and how the religious organizations and the nonprofit community is coming alongside these folks. And also not to mention how this council also is in close support in communication with the Parker Task Force and Seacourt Cares and Southeast Christian Church as well, which does serve as an emergency shelter should anything happen in this town. So we have wonderful relationships here on Parker Town Council with the community, and the mayor does as well, and also with our town manager, Michelle Kivala, our police chief, and our town attorney. So we really do a good job here in Parker, no matter what folks might think.
With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion for consent agenda items unless council pulls one from the agenda. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed. So council, you have consent agenda items 4A through 4J for your consideration.
I move to approve consent agenda items 4A through J, please.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivero, seconded by Hendricks. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Mr. Burke, you're up, sir. We have two ordinances on the Lincoln Avenue road widening project. First is ordinance number 1.626 on second reading. A bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between 9855 Parker LLC and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 1, McClatchin subdivision, filing number 1 for the Lincoln Avenue widening project, and ordinance number 1.628 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreement by and between Belco Credit Union and the town of Parker for a portion of Lot 5, Lincoln Meadows, filing 3 for the Lincoln Widen Avenue project. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. These two ordinances before you tonight are a continuation of the Lincoln Jordan widening project acquisition effort. You've seen me a couple times already, and we've still got a few more to go after this one, but we're getting closer every time. So the vicinity map shown on the screen here shows the two parcels that we are presenting tonight. The parcel to the west on the corner of Lincoln Avenue and 20 Mile Road is the Belco Credit Union parcel. We are acquiring a permanent easement on this parcel. And the parcel to the north, there in the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Parker Road, is the 9855 Parker LLC, also known as the Inspire Animal Hospital. This parcel we will be getting a permanent easement and a temporary easement. So quick background again that we've been through a few times now. In July of 2023, Town Council approved some ordinances authorizing staff to proceed with good faith negotiations with the property owners along Lincoln Avenue for the needed right-of-way permanent easements and temporary construction easements. There were 25 property owners along the corridor that we engaged with. As of today, counting these two parcels tonight and one more on upcoming agenda, we've reached agreements, have signed agreements in hand from 19 of the 25. We are close on the other 6. So the total cost of the 2 permanent easements and 1 temporary easement that's being presented tonight is $96,000. Funds for these acquisitions have been appropriated in the 2024 Highway and Streets Capital Projects Fund. These ordinances are required to approve the right-of-way purchase and sale agreements, and the project cannot continue without their approval. The next 2 slides will just be a brief overview of what these easements look like on the parcels. So starting on the west, the Belco Credit Union parcel, this is as I mentioned, just a permanent easement. This is for sidewalk. With the roadway being widened, our sidewalks being shifted down and widened to the south, so we need some additional permanent easement there. You see it get a little larger in the corner. That's just to accommodate some curb ramps that'll be going in that corner. This easement is 2,047 square feet, total cost of $55,400. And the parcel to the East is the 9855 Parker LLC. This one, we have a small permanent easement, again, for the sidewalk. Gets a little larger there around the curb return where we have new curb ramp. And then we do have a slightly larger temporary easement in this one. It's just for some grading. Just given the lay of the land right there, we had to get a little bit larger, just where we're going to be impacting temporarily. So this one is 757 square feet of permanent easement. It's 4,154 square feet of temporary easement for a total cost of $40,600. And that concludes my presentation. Staff recommends Town Council approve ordinances 1.626 and 1.628 on second reading.
Great. Thank you, sir. And we will go to questions. We'll start to my immediate left. Councilmember Dyak, any questions?
Thank you. The only thing, when do we plan on going to construction? What's the timeline?
We're still looking to get this bid by the end of the year, start construction early spring.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Wilks?
That was my question, so thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
No questions?
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
So the remaining 6 property owners have, did you say we're close?
So 2 of the properties are Douglas County and Stonegate Village Metro District. Those 2 we're really just working on language. We have one final offer, I think, that's going out either this week or may have already been sent last week. We expect to get a response back on that one pretty quick. And then we have one that's, it got sold in the process, so the new owner's transaction was supposed to close at the end of July, so we're trying to get that one re-engaged. I think it was kind of, I think that one was an internal sale. So we don't expect issues. It just, that one got delayed because of the sale. And then we have 2 others that we're working through them, but I think we're getting close to an agreement.
Thank you.
Councilman Rivero?
Thank you. And the permanent easements, mostly sidewalk improvements. Obviously, when we go in and we do road improvements, we have to come up to new code for ramps and such. So to do, I'm more questioning, not questioning, but just wondering, when we take a temporary easement, a construction easement, what does that involve and what do we do with that property?
So the temporary easements are really just for contractor access. So our permanent easement may only go to a foot behind the sidewalk, behind the permanent easement, but realistically a contractor needs more space to get back there, either to set forms or just get equipment around. So really that's the only purpose of the temporary, is just so the contractor can get in and actually build the project. After the project's complete, that area does get restored back to its original, what it was like prior to the project.
Good job. That was my next question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, with that, we'll open it for public comment at 7:35. Anyone from the public wishing to make comment on either of these ordinances? Seeing none, we'll close it at 7:35 and bring it back to council in that same order for any final comments. Councilmember Rivero?
No comment.
Councilmember Barrington?
No comment, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No comment.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, a lot of construction, traffic delays we've been hearing, but again, we're just trying to provide the best roads and the best access as possible. And I know once all these projects get done, it's just going to make a world of difference, both from a congestion as well as safety standpoint. Thank you.
Councilor Wilks?
No, I mean, part of the reason, at least in my opinion, that we don't have a lot of comments and questions up here is because we have a 20-page packet given to us that is very detailed with all the information that we've been able to read for days on days. So other than just a few simple questions here and there, I mean, you guys have done an incredible job making this really easy for us. So thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, here in Parker, again, as you travel around the country, we are so fortunate. Our roads are repaired. Our potholes are repaired. Our roads are widened. And we have a very hardworking engineering team with the Department of Public Works, with Tom Williams heading that up. And he works closely with the budget office as well, our finance director, Christine, to make this happen. As you travel around the country, you will not find towns repairing their roads, widening their roads, negotiating with landowners for easements, and we're paying these landowners too for their easements as well. We're not taking their property, we're negotiating with them, and they are voluntarily engaging in these negotiations to widen our roads. So when you travel around Parker and you see construction, it's because you have a well-run town, a wonderful staff, and a town manager that heads it up. She's got to hold it all together. So thank you, Town Manager Michelle Kivala, for all your hard work. And thank you, Department of Engineering as well. And you can say thank you to Christine in the Budget Department.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 1.626.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.626 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Hendrick, seconded by Rivera. Rivera.
Aye.
Barrington.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Dyak.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. And I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 1.628 on second reading.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.628 on second reading.
Second.
Motion is made by Hendrick, seconded by Rivera. Rivera.
Aye.
Barrington.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Dyak.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Next up, we have two contracts in the over $500,000 range, both related to the town hall expansion. A is a fourth amendment to the design contract CIP 22-051 AS for the town hall addition and renovation project. Mr. Ekstrom, you've not been here this early before. You usually get to go home, have dinner, take a nap, and come back. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor.
Not take a nap, I don't know.
Good evening, Council. So I'm excited to be here tonight. It's kind of a long road to a long process. I think we started this maybe 2 years ago, if not more, and we're at a milestone right now. So I've got two contracts here tonight. This one here is the Fourth Amendment for Anderson Mason Dale, and it's for construction administration services. So the purpose of Amendment 4 is to add construction administration services to the owner-architect agreement. Construction administration deals with administrative tasks performed by the architect and their subs to help oversee the project, ensuring that it's built according to the design documents. So I got a project vicinity map here, I'm sure you're all familiar with, showing the expansion to the east. Project description. The project generally consists of a 32,000 square foot, two-story addition, select renovations of existing town hall, and related site work. The project provides needed workspace, safety and security enhancements, accessibility improvements, upgraded technology and systems, and space for additional community services. So a little history on the amendment. Years 21 and 22, the town contracted with Stantec to develop a facility master plan. The plan provides a feasible approach over the next 12 years to construct additional space at multiple town facilities, including Town Hall. On April 18, 2022, Council approved the plan via Resolution 22-16. Summer, fall of 22, staff advertised an RFQ for architect engineering services. 6 responses were received. 3 companies were shortlisted. The 3 companies shortlisted were submitted proposals in response to an RFP, were interviewed and ranked, and Anderson Mason Dale was selected as the most qualified firm. January 3rd of 23, Council awarded AMD a design contract and Amendment 1 for preliminary design services. August 7th of 2023, Council awarded AMD Amendment 2 for design development and entitlement services. January 2nd of 24, Council awarded AMD Amendment 3 for construction documentation, entitlement, and bidding administration services. May 23 of 24, Planning Commission recommended approval of the site plan amendment. And recently, June 17, 24, Council unanimously approved the site plan amendment. So I've got a slide here that just shows the fee breakdown. I believe I provided that in the staff report. Total services are $918,750 with a 10% owner contingency that's held outside of the contract. The total fee for Amendment 4 would be $1,010,625. So a little bit about phasing and schedule. The project will be constructed in 2 phases. Phase 1 is the addition and is estimated to take approximately 14 months to complete. And Phase 2 is the renovation, estimated at 7 months. If all goes as planned, the addition should be ready to occupy in 4Q of 25 and the renovation in 2Q of 26. Each phase requires temporary relocation of select staff, including housing, the finance and P3 departments off-site during Phase 1. Town Hall will remain open during the entire project, with council chambers and courts finding temporary accommodations during Phase 2. The site work consists of 6 phases, with temporary closures of parking lots throughout the project. Pikes Peak Avenue will remain open during the entire project, with temporary lane closures and detours for utility work. The roundabout will be replaced and with a new access and driveway. So with that, staff recommends Town Council award AMD a 4th amendment to the design contract for construction administration services for the Town Hall addition and renovation project in the amount of $1,010,625. Amendment 4 services are anticipated to take approximately 21 months to complete and start the week of August 12th, 2024. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Councilmember Hendricks, you want to kick us off?
No questions, thank
All
you.
right. Councilmember Barrington?
I'm just looking at all the moving parts here. 4 different engineering specialties, I guess you would say. The architect, landscape architect. So I guess that should have just been more of a comment, but no questions right now, thank you.
Okay. Councilman Rivera?
So this is 21 months for the drawings and the engineering to go on, the interior design to go on, and then after 21 months, then we start with actual construction, or does construction start as we're going through this 21 months?
So construction starts August 12th of 2024.
Okay,
There's 19 months total of construction and 2 months of occupancy. So there's a month in between phases 1 and 2
okay,
for the town to occupy the addition. And then there's 30 days on the back end of phase 2 of the renovation for the town to move back into the existing town hall and to close out the project.
okay, yeah, that's what I understood, but then there was a slide prior to this, I think, that said this will take 21 months, and so I maybe I misunderstood that the whole project is 21 months, not just the drawings, not just the engineering.
Construction is 21
Thank
months.
you so much, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
19 months of construction, 2 months of occupancy.
Perfect, thank
Yep.
you. Yeah, the last slide threw me off, apologies.
Okay.
Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, Bob, so just, we're seeing the 4th Amendment here for the design, 5th Amendment for construction. If we go to the next item, some people might be thinking, don't you just design it and then build it? So, how do we get to 4th and 5th amendments, and maybe explain the newer process that we're working through to deliver this?
Sure. Well, I can speak to this amendment. It was designed to have basically 4 amendments. When I was here in January of 23, we brought the contract before you, and you approved the terms and conditions that night, plus Amendment 1, which the first amendment was preliminary design services, so basically 30% design. At the conclusion of that, I came back, and then for the Amendment 2, I believe you approved, I think it was design development, basically 60% drawings. And then for the Amendment 3, it came back and you approved construction documentation services. So that's taking the design documents and basically making them into construction drawings.
Yeah.
So that was Amendment 3. And then this Amendment 4 is construction administration.
So more of a deliberate process to increase transparency. So we're kind of looped in as opposed to us just getting a whole bunch of documents saying, here you go.
Yeah. And it's better to scope it this way. If you force the architect to give you a fee up front for all this, they just have to guess.
Yep.
So it's really more efficient and effective and cost efficient for the town to contract it this way. It's harder, but it's a lot more cost effective to do.
Great. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, so just to be clear, so under our report, under the financial impact, the funding has already been appropriated for this amendment. So we're just giving our breakdown of what the funds that have already been allocated for our town hall expansion are actually being broken down into in this phase, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
And Councilmember Hefta.
Hi, Bob. I have a question for Tom. Is that okay?
Sure.
Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Just a little bit about your background. How long have you been with the town, Tom?
Well, it'll be 24 years next week.
Thank you. I just wanted to establish that because you probably have a lot of experience with contractors, seeing contractors come and go.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit to your experience with this contractor, Anderson Mason Dale Architects for the town, and regarding the contract itself, its fairness, cost run-ups, contingency?
So AMD is an architect that has done a considerable amount of work in the metro area, and they really specialize, and Bob can speak to this, with government-type facilities like the town hall expansion. So that's kind of their specialty, is this type of work. Before we selected them, we went through a pretty rigorous RFP review process, and we had a committee of staff that evaluated all of the proposals. We did reference checks and talked with other entities, governmental agencies that had worked with this firm before and got a lot of positive reviews and responses to their work. They've done some work here in town. They've been very successful in their partnerships with some of the other agencies here in Parker and in Douglas County, and they've been very good to work with. I think Bob would probably echo that this architect is probably one of the more professional firms that we've dealt with here at the town, and have had pretty good success with what they've provided the town as far as services thus far.
And that contingency should cover any potential cost run-ups or issues, and pretty tight on that cost of $91,000 for that?
Yes, 10% is typically what we hold back whenever we have a project like this, where things will come up during construction. We like to think as engineers and architects that our plans are 100% and they're perfect and they're ready to go construction and there'll be no problems that come up. But being in construction, as long as Bob and I have been in construction, we always know that things come up and we have to be able to adapt to any changes that come up during the construction. We don't want to have to come back to town council and request a few $1,000s whenever there's a deviation to the plans that we may have to address. So that's really for us to hold back and make sure that we can be responsive to changes during construction.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Great. With that, we'll open it up for public comment on the CIP 22051 AS at 7:51. Seeing no public comment, we'll close it at 7:51. And council, any further comments from anyone? Councilman Rivera?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. So I guess what I'm looking at here is only what's stated in our packet is the architectural and engineering work. But actually, there's the bid. I think Councilman Dyak touched on it. There's the owner's rep aspect of this also, where they're overseeing the construction, and it's stated in the paper. So my apologies for not understanding what was stated. I thought Amendment 4 was just about what we're paying the architect and the engineers, and not so much about the owner's rep aspect during the construction. So apologize.
Councilmember Barrington, anything?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks? Councilmember Wilkes, anything?
Nope, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Thank you for your hard work, Bob.
Thank you.
With that, I'll entertain a motion on design contract CIP 22-051-AS.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Wilkes, seconded by Hefta. Rivero?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0. Now on to the big one. Fifth Amendment for construction contract CIP 22-051-CI for the Town Hall addition and renovation project.
All right. So as you said, Mayor, this is the big one. This is for the guaranteed maximum price and adds the GMP to JHL's contract. This is the Fifth Amendment. Council has previously approved amendments 1 through 4. So this adds the GMP to the contract. The primary purpose of Amendment 5 is to add the GMP to the owner contract agreement and to officially start the project in earnest. The same vicinity map. Project description. Project generally consists of 32,000 square foot, 2-story addition. Select renovations of existing town hall and related site work. Project provides needed workspace, safety and security enhancements, accessibility improvements, upgraded technology and systems, and space for additional community services. So the Amendment 5 history, 2122, Stantec developed a facility master plan, which council approved via resolution 22-16, April 18 of 22. Staff presented to council a detailed overview of the alternative CMGC project delivery method. And on May 2nd of 22, council approved the alternative method via resolution 22-18. Summer, fall of 22, staff advertised a RFQ for CMGC services. 10 responses were received and 3 companies were shortlisted. The 3 shortlisted companies submitted proposals in response to an RFP. They were interviewed and ranked, and JHL was selected as the most qualified company. In January 3rd of 23, council awarded JHL a contract for construction and an Amendment 1 for pre-construction services. February 5th of 24, council awarded Amendment 2 for select electrical design assistance services and to place an early order for a new building generator due to long lead times. May 23 of 24, Planning Commission recommended approval of the site plan amendment. June 17th, council approved the site plan amendment and awarded JHL Amendment 3 for enabling work, including select labor and materials necessary to advance critical pre-construction tasks required for starting construction in August. July 8th of 24, council awarded JHL Amendment 4 for select labor and materials necessary for early mobilization in mid-July and administration and procurement efforts critical for starting the construction in August. So here's a slide of the GMP results. It's a little different than what I provided in the staff report. I wanted to provide the direct cost separate from indirect cost, and this slide does that. The subtotal there is the total cost of the project, $27,636,627. JHL is entitled to a 2.75% fee. This is a cost plus fee compensation method. So we agreed on the fee up front. When we selected JHL, they competed on that fee. It's very competitive, I would say. Their total fee on the project is $760,007. That's applied to the subtotal cost. That's how that's calculated. So cost plus fee, the guaranteed maximum price is $28,396,634, And then we are required to carry an owner contingency. And so we're proposing a 3.52% on top of the 28 for $1 million, which brings the Amendment 5 total to $29,396,634. So the phasing, this is the same that I went over previously with AMD. 2 phases of construction. Phase 1 is the addition. It will take approximately 14 months. That's including 30 days to occupy the addition. Phase 2 renovation, estimated 7 months. And that's estimated, so that's 6 months of construction, 1 month of occupancy on the back end for a total of 21 months of construction and occupancy. Each phase requires temporary relocation of select staff. Finance and P3 are currently off-site. Council chambers and courts near the end of phase 1, we will be relocating council chambers and courts temporarily. Right now, we're looking at Old Town Hall as an option. The site work consists of 6 phases. And as I previously said, there will be temporary lane closures and detours for utility work. So this slide I slipped in here just to hopefully clarify the construction schedule a bit. Phase 1, the addition there that's bolded, it's scheduled to start in August and be complete in October of 25. That's 14 months. Phase 2, the renovation, scheduled to start in October of 25 and be complete in May of 26, and that's 7 months. So that gets us to 21 months. But that, if you look at the buildup inside there, that includes 30 days of occupancy prior to final completion. So we need that time to, the time period between phases 1 and 2 is pretty complex, and there's a lot of moves happening during that time. So hopefully that clarifies the schedule a bit. So with that, staff recommends town council award JHL a 5th amendment to the construction contract for construction phase services for the town hall addition and renovation project in the amount of $29,396,634. Amendment 5 services are anticipated to take approximately 21 months to complete and start the week of August 12th. With that, I'll take any questions.
Great, thanks, sir. Councilmember Dyak, any questions?
No, Bob, but thanks a lot for your assistance on this project. I'm sure it's going to be challenging, but you will be up to the task.
Councilmember Wilks?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Just a little bit about the contractor you're working with, Stantec, and how you arrived at that decision collectively.
Did you mention Stantec?
I'm sorry.
JHL.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
JHL.
So back this time of the year, probably in 22, I want to say, we went through an RFP process. Starts with an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, that was advertised. So any and all contractors could respond to that. We received, I think it was 10 proposals in response to the RFQ. We analyzed those 10 and shortlisted to 3 contractors. And then from there, we interviewed. We gave them an RFP. So they responded to some quantitative data, one being the fee, 2.75%. They proposed at that stage in the project. So based on that data, interviews, we selected JHL to be the most qualified contractor for the project. I've worked with them. I've been with the town 22 years. When I first started the town in 2002, I worked with them on a small remodel project at the rec center. It's since been remodeled and no longer is there. But that's my experience with JHL, working with them at the town. They've grown as a contractor. especially I would say in the last decade. They've also diversified. They have a civil division, so they do civil construction work as well. Their vertical construction division is very strong. They do a lot of school work. They also do a lot of government work, a lot of churches. So very strong in the commercial sector and very suited for this project. I think what one of the decision points for us, they did the Parker Water Sand facility out at Reuter Hess. So very qualified. That facility is, geometry is rather complex. It was a complex build, very, very qualified contractor.
Thank you, Bob.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
Thank you. I think you touched on it. You said required to maintain an owner contingency of $1 million. And whereas we usually, on most projects, 10%, and this one, though, is a guaranteed maximum price, can you talk about the difference there and why it's only 3.52% versus 10?
Yeah, and that's on a scale. So, the higher the contract, the less contingency you're going to carry. It would be inappropriate to carry a 10% on a $29 or $28 million GMP. So it's really proportional to that contract amount, and I would say about 3 to 5% is a good range. For this project, there's three things that are I feel that drive the owner contingency. Number one, you got two projects here, really. You have an addition, and then you have a renovation. So it's really two projects. Two, you have a renovation. And I've done 2 or 3 of them now with the town. I was a project manager on the rec center remodel, very complex $20 million remodel project. And I promise you, when you start opening up walls and you start looking behind the walls, it's not what you think. And so anytime you're in a remodel situation, your contingencies need to go up as an owner because you own that risk. And then the third, I would say, is the time. So 21 months, especially for JHL, there's a lot of risk in 21 months. The market can change, things that are outside of their control. So I would say those three things are kind of the driver in terms of that contingency.
Okay, so for example, let's say the market goes crazy and steel goes nuts again. Is that covered in the $1 million contingency, or is this Amendment 6?
Well, it depends on where we stand with the balance of that $1 million contingency. They do have a contingency in their contract as well. Part of it is for market escalation, but that's for reasonable market escalation too. If it's unreasonable beyond outside their control, then the town would have to look at supplementing that. But they do have a contingency within their contract. They call it a contractor's contingency.
Okay.
Ours is an owner's contingency. They're required to carry a contingency in their contract by contract as well.
Awesome. Sounds very fair. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's it for now. I might have another one in a minute.
Did you say you had another?
I don't right now, no.
Okay. Did you have a question?
No questions,
All right.
just comments.
Let's go to public comment at 8:06 on CIP 22051CI. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring it back in that reverse order. Councilmember Rivera, any final comments?
No, this is obviously yes, like Jesus, I'm off today. This is a huge project. We've been working on this for years, and when I say years, I mean 20 plus years. This building was built as a phase 1, and so essentially we're looking now at phase 2 and phase 3. In my mind, this building was built to be expanded. It was known that it wasn't going to hold everybody, and the town council at that time determined it was best to build phase 1 and allow future councils to build out phase 2 and phase 3 in the renovation. This is incredibly well vetted project. Bob has done an excellent team. Engineering has done an excellent team. They have hired an excellent team, as was touched on earlier. We had the opportunity to tour the new Parker Water and Sanitation building, and it is an amazing building. And it's amazing in the adaptability of the building. And this is where I think the JHL strives. The bottom floor is their fleet maintenance, fleet storage, and you wouldn't know it. It doesn't look like that. It looks like an incredibly well-designed, and that obviously goes to the architect also. But you don't know that underneath this building, this one story of or 2 stories of office is a whole fleet and facilities department. And so they built an incredible building, but also inside that building. And I think that what we're striving for is the adaptability. This is a renovation. It's an expansion, but it's also renovating into the 21st century with different styles of workspaces, more secure workspaces for added threat nowadays. It's more accessible for those in need, giving the public better service. Putting 2 different doorways in, one for daily services and then one for courts and council. So adapting to what is the demand now. Again, incredible foresight by previous council to understand that they can't guess what's going to be needed in 20 years, so they shouldn't build a building to answer 20 years in the future. And so they decided to build one phase, and here we are today to finish that great project and to build the forever town hall of our community. This town hall, when it's done and this project's done in late 25, then that'll be it. This will be the building that carries Parker in perpetuity. Will be built out shortly, and we won't need more. So we need to be able to have a building that is adaptable. And I think that Anderson Mason Dale and JHL are incredible partners. But a lot of kudos goes to Bob and Tom and Chris and the whole team. So well done. I'm excited for the project. And of course, the champion of them all, Michelle Kivala, our talent manager, taking care of her staff and ensuring that not only taking care of her staff, but ensuring that her staff had buy-in. They got to talk about what the needs were and talk about what they were going to need and what they're going to look forward to and maybe what wasn't needed. As we all can sit where we are and think what we know the best, but it's best to talk to those that are involved daily and what they are going to need in the future. So a well done job by the entire team. I look forward to saying yes to this project.
Councilmember Barrington?
The collective experience that went into all of this is just, 22 years. We've got 24 years. Chris Hudson, how long has he been? And then hiring, you guys chose your contractors very carefully. And Michelle, I just appreciate everything that you guys have put into this, just really understanding and the extra security and the accessibility. This is a modernization for sure. A lot changes in 20 years, and when you're taking out some of the walls in here, some of the things you're going to find, I'm sure you're going to say, what were we thinking 20 years ago? But I appreciate this. I'm excited and hope that I'm here to enjoy part of this expansion after the next 2 years election, maybe.
Councilmember Henry, are you announcing something tonight?
We'll
or-
see.
Okay, all right.
No
asking.
commitment. No commitment.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yeah, I agree with my fellow council members. Long overdue project. I'm excited for the new services, potentially passport services, for example, and the improvements to safety and meeting space and other aspects. So this is a great project for the citizens and staff, and look forward to seeing it to fruition. Thank you.
Councilmember Dyak.
Man, Josh and Todd had a lot of words. I don't think I can add any more.
All right.
Good, thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes.
I'm sure you're up to the challenge.
No.
No, I just, having grown up in Parker and seeing everything that's changed from, to Old Town Hall to this and knowing what's going forward and being able to be a part of it, I understand where some people come from, not fully understanding how our budget works and where the funding comes from and how much was allocated and set aside and scraped and pennies pinched to make this a reality, and the fact that we're very much overdue from what the original plan was to build this. It speaks a lot to how you guys have all worked together to make this culminate over the last 22 years? So it's impressive, and I am very excited about that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hefta.
This project speaks to a need. So when improvements need to be made, our town manager, our finance department, and our directors come to the town manager. They come to the finance department. And as all the previous council members stated, this is a needed improvement. This is part of a phased plan. This project provides for needed workspace, needed safety and security improvements and enhancements, needed Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility improvements, needed upgrade technology and systems, and additional space for community servants and residents and business owners and developers that need to come to town hall, that need to conduct business here. And so as we grow and improve our building, and our town hall has to grow and improve as well. It has to grow with the needs of the residents and the citizens and the folks that work here. So that's what's most important, I think, from the collective comments that were made up here in support of this matter, which thank you, fellow town council members, for making.
Great. With that, we'll entertain a motion on CIP 22051CI.
I move to approve the staff recommendation as part of the regular agenda.
Second.
Motion is made by Rivera, seconded by Wilkes. Rivera?
Aye.
Barrington?
Yes.
Hendricks?
Yes.
Dyak?
Yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hefta?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0, and I guess we can break some ground on Thursday, right? All right, 4 o'clock here. All right, with that, we will adjourn at 8:14.